You sit down on the couch to watch TV, and when you go to stand up, you need to push off with your hands. Maybe you rock forward once or twice before you actually get up. You grab the handrail every time you climb stairs now. Not because you're unsteady, but because your hips feel locked. And when you walk, you're starting to shuffle instead of taking full strides. Small things, but they're adding up. Here's the thing. This isn't aging, this is weak hips. Years of sitting have shortened your hip flexors and shut off your glutes, and it's creating a cycle that's only going to get worse if you don't fix it now. The good news? 4 simple exercises fix both the tightness and the weakness. Do these consistently for 2 to 4 weeks, and you'll notice the difference. More importantly, you're protecting your independence for the next 20 years. I'm going to show you the 4 moves, why they work, and how to progress them using things you already have at home. Let's get into it. First up, the standing hip flexor stretch. This targets the psoas and iliacus, the 2 muscles at the front of your hip that get chronically shortened from sitting at your desk, driving, or just sitting on the couch for hours every day. And here's why you need to fix this now. Tight hip flexors create that forward pelvic tilt you see in people who've let this go too long. It makes your stomach stick out, your lower back ache, and eventually creates that shuffling walk. You're not there yet, but this is how you make sure you never get there. Here's how to do it. Step 1 foot forward into a lunge position. Not a deep lunge, just a comfortable stance. Your back knee stays straight. Now here's the key. Squeeze the glute of your back leg as hard as you can. This is critical because it amplifies the stretch through your hip flexor. At the same time, brace your abs to keep your spine neutral. Don't let your lower back arch. From here, gently lean your hips forward until you feel a stretch at the front of your back hip. It should feel like a good stretch, not painful. Hold this for 30 to 90 seconds per side. Don't bounce. Just breathe and let the muscle relax. If you need support for balance, use a wall. Place your hand on it lightly. You're not leaning on it, just stabilizing. If even this feels too intense, shorten your stance. Bring your feet closer together and you'll reduce the stretch depth. You can also do this from a kneeling position if standing is uncomfortable. Just put a cushion under your back knee. Here's the progression. Week 1 to 2, use the wall for support and hold for 30 seconds per side. Week 3 to 4, go freestanding and hold for 60 seconds. After that, deepen your lunge stance and work up to 90-second holds. The most common mistake? Arching your lower back instead of keeping it neutral. If your back arches, you're defeating the entire purpose of the stretch. The second mistake is not squeezing your back glute hard enough. That squeeze is what makes this stretch effective. Do this 3 to 5 times per week. Within the first week, you'll notice increased awareness of how tight your hips actually are. By weeks 2 to 4, standing up from chairs will feel easier and stairs won't feel as locked. Your stride length will start to open up naturally. Next, the 90-90 stretch. This is the gold standard in physiotherapy clinics because it combines passive stretching with active strengthening in one movement. It targets your hip external rotation, which is the deep hip socket mobility most people completely neglect. Sit on the floor with your front leg bent at 90 degrees. Both your knee and your hip should be at 90 degrees. Your back leg can either extend straight behind you or also bend at 90 degrees, whichever feels more comfortable. Start sitting upright with a tall spine. From here, lean forward gently, hinging at your hips, not rounding your spine. Exhale as you lean forward and feel the stretch deep in your front hip and glute. Hold this for 60 seconds. Now, if you want to take this to the next level, here's the active component. From the 90-90 position, apply gentle downward pressure through your front knee, about 50% effort. You're not trying to push through the floor, just creating some isometric contraction. Hold that pressure for 10 seconds, then relax and lean forward deeper into the stretch for 30 seconds. Repeat this 2 to 3 times per side. This technique is called PAILS and RAILS, and it's what physiotherapists use to build both flexibility and strength simultaneously. If sitting on the floor feels impossible right now, use a chair. Sit in a sturdy chair, cross your ankle over your opposite knee, and lean forward from your hips. You're getting the same hip stretch without needing to get down on the floor. If you are on the floor and it's uncomfortable, put a small pillow under your front knee or sit on a yoga block to elevate your hips slightly. Progression. Week 1 to 2. Stay in the chair version or sit upright on the floor without leaning forward. Week 3 to 4. Move to the floor version and add a gentle forward lean. Week 4 and beyond, incorporate that isometric push component for 10 seconds before each stretch. Common mistakes. Rounding your spine instead of hinging at your hips. If your back rounds, you're stretching your lower back instead of your hip. The stretch should feel deep in your hip and glute, not your spine. Also, don't force the position. This should feel like a productive stretch, not sharp pain. Do this 3 to 4 times per week. By weeks 2 to 4, you'll notice your hip rotation improving significantly. Movements that felt restricted, like getting in and out of your car or crossing your legs, will start to feel easier. By weeks 4 to 6, you'll be able to reach further and your hips will feel genuinely mobile instead of locked. Quick note. If you want the full program for building strength and mobility after 40, I've got an ebook in the description. Exercise 3. The glute bridge with a resistance band. This directly addresses the root problem. Weak glutes. When your hip flexors are tight, they actually suppress your glute activation. Research shows that tight hip flexors reduce gluteus maximus firing during functional movements like walking and standing up from chairs. That's the vicious cycle. Tight flexors weaken glutes, and weak glutes allow your pelvis to tilt forward even more. This exercise breaks that cycle. Lie on your back with your knees bent and feet flat on the floor, about hip width apart. Wrap a resistance band around your thighs just above your knees. If you don't have a band yet, that's fine. Start without it. Now, drive through your heels and lift your hips toward the ceiling. As you lift, press your knees outward against the band. At the top, squeeze your glutes as hard as you possibly can. I mean, really squeeze them, like you're trying to crack a walnut. Hold that squeeze for 2 to 3 seconds, then lower down with control. That's 1 rep. Do 3 sets of 15 reps. The key here is making sure this is a glute exercise, not a lower back exercise. If you feel this primarily in your lower back, you're doing it wrong. The lift should come from driving your heels into the ground and squeezing your glutes at the top, not from arching your spine. If you're a complete beginner or this feels too intense, start with bodyweight bridges. No band, just focus on the hip lift and glute squeeze. You can even do these from your bed initially if getting on the floor is uncomfortable. If bodyweight bridges are still too much, do mini bridges. Only lift your hips 6 inches off the ground instead of going to full extension. Progression, week 1 to 3. Bodyweight bridges, 2 sets of 12 reps. Week 3 to 4. Add a light resistance band. You can get one online for 8 to 15 pounds. Week 4 and beyond, use a stronger band and progress to single leg bridges once regular bridges feel easy. Common mistakes. Arching your lower back excessively at the top. Your body should form a straight line from knees to shoulders, not a rainbow. Another mistake is not pressing your knees outward against the band. That outward pressure is what activates your glute medius, which stabilizes your pelvis. Do this 3 to 4 times per week. You can even do it 5 to 6 days per week without fatigue. It's not a heavy load. By weeks 3 to 4, your core will feel more stable and you'll stand taller without even thinking about it. Your foundation is stronger, and that strength translates directly into better hip mobility. Last exercise, the deep squat with hip rotation. This is dynamic mobility work, meaning you're moving through range of motion instead of holding static stretches. It addresses your full hip mobility, internal rotation, external rotation, and overall hip socket freedom. And it challenges your stability at the same time. Get into a deep squat position, feet flat on the ground, heels down, sitting as low as you comfortably can. If you can't get into a full squat yet, that's completely fine. Just go as deep as you can. From here, rotate one knee across your midline, aiming it toward your opposite foot. Return to center, then rotate the other knee across. Keep alternating for 60 seconds continuously. Your upper body stays still. All the movement comes from your hips. This drill takes your hip through its full range of motion while forcing your stabilizer muscles to work. It's one of the fastest ways to improve movement quality because you're teaching your body how to move, not just stretching tissues. If a full squat is too much right now, hold onto a wall or sturdy chair for balance and perform a partial squat, maybe halfway down. You're still getting the hip rotation work without needing to go deep. You can also perform this from a chair. Just sit at the edge, feet flat, and rotate your knees inward and outward from that seated position. It's less challenging, but still effective. Progression. Week 1 to 2. Chair-supported partial squats with rotation, 30 to 45 seconds. Week 3 to 4. Freestanding partial squats, 60 seconds. Week 4 and beyond. Work toward a deeper squat position and maintain continuous movement for 60 to 90 seconds. Common mistakes: moving too fast. This isn't cardio, it's mobility work. Move slowly and deliberately, so you're actually feeling the rotation through your hip joint. Another mistake is lifting your heels off the ground. Keep them planted. If your heels come up, it means your ankles are tight too, which is another issue we can address later. Do this 3 to 5 times per week. It's gentle enough to do daily if you want. By weeks 2 to 4, your hip mobility will noticeably improve. You'll feel less stiff when you first start moving in the morning, and your hips will feel more fluid throughout the day instead of locked up. There you go. 4 exercises that fix both the tightness in your hip flexors and the weakness in your glutes. The aim of the game is to stay in the game, and your hip mobility is the foundation of everything. Fix this now, and you won't be that person at 70 who needs help getting around. If this helped, hit subscribe. This channel is about staying strong, mobile, and pain-free well into your later years. We're not chasing quick fixes, we're building sustainable strength that actually lasts. Welcome to Long Game Fitness. See you in the next one.